Hi, I'm Allison. I'm a reading specialist and I help parents of kids who are struggling with reading. In this video, I'm going to explain what to do if your child can read fairly well, but their spelling isn't so good. Before we dive in, if you haven't subscribed to my channel yet, make sure to do that now and then also hit the little bell so that you're notified every time I post a brand new video about supporting your child with learning to read. Okay, so on a scale from 1 to 3, 3 being amazing and 1 being not very good, how would you rate your child's spelling right now? Let me know in a comment and don't feel ashamed. The reason you're watching this video is to get help if your kiddo is at a 1 or a 2. So that's exactly what we're going to talk about. First, I want to talk about some aspects of spelling that you might not think about. First of all, you might wonder, well, is spelling even important? Because we have spell check on phones, on computers, on everything, right? And yes, spelling is still important, and it's important for a variety of reasons. Number 1, spelling development actually helps kids with their reading. Number 2, there's typically going to be like some paper and pencil tasks in a child's schooling and also after schooling where they're not necessarily going to want to be like checking, going on a computer and checking how to spell every single word. That gets in the way of them being able to get their ideas out onto paper. The other thing with spell check too, and even if they are using spell check, is they still have to get close enough to the word, right? Spell check, as we all know from some weird auto corrections that we've probably seen in our phones, spell check doesn't always get it right. So they have to get close enough so that spell check knows what they're trying to say. Something else that's helpful to know is that when a child is learning to read a certain type of word, like maybe a CVC word or long vowel words, being able to read those words usually comes before they can spell those words correctly, and that is totally normal. The reason why spelling is harder than reading is because there's just so much involved, right? They have to be able to hear the sounds in the words, right? Like break a word up into its sounds. They have to know how to like physically form the letters, which is easier than for some kids than others. They have to know phonics, right? To know that like if they're trying to spell the E sound, it could be EA, it could be EE. They need to know all of that stuff. There's different word nuances, like when do they use the TO spelling of two versus the TOO spelling of two versus TWO. And so all of those things are going on when they're trying to spell a word. I'm going to talk about activities that you can do to help in a moment, but I want to be really sure that we're clear on something. And that is that even if your child seems like they're reading okay, you still want to kind of test them, especially if they're having trouble with spelling. And like if you pull the word seat out of a book, right? Or just, find some words that they're reading in books and you just maybe write it on pencil and paper and they're not reading it in the context of a book, can they still decode that word? Because sometimes kids do read by kind of guessing and looking at pictures and figuring out what would sound right in the sentence. And it looks like they're getting by, but in actuality, they're not sounding out these words correctly. So you always want to be sure that that's not the case. And again, you can test that by just like pulling out certain words of a book that you think they'd be able to read or that you know that they've read in the past and like just writing them down and see if they can actually sound out those words. Okay, so now let's talk about what you can do to help them with spelling. The first thing that you want to do is get really clear on what types of words they need to work on. When kids are learning to spell, and this is so cool, no matter, and we're talking about English spelling, right? No matter if they live in California or if they live in Canada or, no matter if they're 5 or they're 8, they're all progressing along this pretty predictable sequence of skills. So like CVC words is coming first, then blends. Eventually we have like silent E words with long vowels. And so it doesn't have to be a mystery, right? You don't have to feel like you need to work on everything at once. You just need to work on whatever skills your child is ready to work on next and work on spelling those kinds of words. So if you don't know like which stair step your child is on this sequence, all you need to do is go to the caption and download my free parent guide. There's actually a little spelling test in there that you can use to then figure out like, oh, okay, my child needs to learn how to spell these words. And it's so easy to give, but it gives you exact direction in what to work on. So then once you know what words or what type of words your child needs to work on, you can design just quick little activities. It doesn't have to be hours of practice that are going to help them learn how to spell those words. So something you might do is have kids tap out a word. So if they're trying to spell the word tree, have them tap it out like this, T-E, tree. You want to get them to listen for the individual sounds and words. And at this point, it's time for them to spell the word. You can have kids spell words in so many different ways. You can use magnetic letters or tiles. This could be done on a cookie sheet or on the fridge. You could give them a little dry erase board. Kids love dry erase boards. And markers so they can wipe off. You could give them just pencil and paper. They could do it with marker, with crayon, with paint. You can kind of vary what you have them use to spell over time, just to kind of keep things interesting. So for each word that you tell them to spell, like with tree, have them say the word in their own mouths. Use the word in a sentence, like that tree over there is very tall. Have them tap out the word, or E, tree, and then have them spell it. And sometimes you'll notice that when they tap out the word, they don't get the sounds quite right, so you want to help them. So they might say ch or e, tree, because the TR blend often sounds like CHR to kids. So you might have to tell them, hey, it sounds like that, but it's actually t or e, tree. And what letter are we going to use to spell the t sound, the T, right? So you can give them feedback, but have them spell or build the word, and then have them sound it back out. So if they've written T-R-E-E, have them sound out, or E, tree. Now, if you see your child making a mistake, let them finish the word, tell them to sound it out and check their work, see if they can fix any mistakes, and then, only then, do you want to intervene. As soon as they start to write or build or spell the word, you don't want to be like, oh no, that's wrong. You just want to let them do it, because they might fix their own mistakes. Have them sound it out, and if they notice a mistake, they should fix it. And then if they still don't have it right, then you help them fix it, and then have them sound out the word. So super simple process. You can do this for 6 to 10 words, and it really doesn't take that long. But if you consistently do this, I would say 4, maybe 5 times a week, over time, it will absolutely help with their spelling. Okay, so don't forget to grab that free guide. In the caption, just grab the link, and that will help you understand exactly what type of words your child needs to practice spelling with. So make sure to grab that, and I hope these ideas are helpful. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate you. Before you leave, don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe, and I will see you in my next video.